Greetings everyone. Welcome to Clad Possible. I am Harshvardhan Tripathi back with you for 20th October news analysis. So first news that we should cover is this. The second news that we should cover is this. The third news that we should cover would be respect to what is going on in Sikkim, and the fourth news from the front page is this. These are the four news that we need to cover. Moving further ahead, there is nothing from the state side that we should cover because everything is political here. Most of the time, it is political here. Though to an extent, you will find some sort of legal related news, but yes, you can choose to skip it. Spotlight is not important. The editorial may we have two interesting editorials coming from this site. This editorial and this editorial you must read, right? And then there is Nithari fiasco about this is a legal editorial. So you see again they are criticizing the verdict of the Allahabad High Court, right? So because of the lack of evidence, you don't have to really deep dive into this. Are southern states being punished for success? I would not recommend you to read this. Again, it is related to too much related to what is with respect to policy and all of that. But yes, what is Finance Commission? You should read about Finance Commission here. Finance Commission is a constitutional body, quasi-judicial, Article 280 of the Indian Constitution. What is the role of the Finance Commission? How it is different from GST Council and how it is different from Monetary Policy Committee, that you should be able to understand what is the unique role of Finance Commission. Also, there is another body, Comptroller Auditor General. You should also study about this. This is a constitutional position, and all of these bodies are related to money, tax, center and state and all of that. So you need to study all these four bodies separately. Finance Commission is a constitutional body. Comptroller Auditor General is a constitutional body. GST Council is also a constitutional body which was added by the amendment in 2016, and Monetary Policy Committee is a statutory body created in 2016, right? So these are the four bodies that you should study about. Other than this, do not study about anything else. Now this is the media bias that they are saying, that allegations are there that the New York Times is supportive of Israel, not of Palestine. BBC is supportive of Palestine, not of Israel, and all of that. So they are trying to tell you in this particular editorial, the author is trying to tell you कि किस तरीके से अपने अपनी कन्वीनियंस के हिसाब से लोग न्यूज़पेपर की हेडिंग्स को परसीव कर रहे हैं. इनका कोई भी बायसनेस नहीं है. शब्दों के ऊपर नीचे के यूजेज को करके ये लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, बेसिकली दे आर चेकिंग इट लाइक दैट, है ना. तो यहाँ पे आपको ये वाली जो चीज़ है वो पढ़नी पड़ेगी. मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, दिस टेक्स्ट एंड कॉन्टेक्स्ट where it is talking about special and local laws, this is important. I have already highlighted the necessary part. Also, there is one science and tech related news that you should read, and that is with respect to the NASA has launched a particular mission which is called as Psyche, NASA ka Psyche mission. NASA's Psyche mission. It is going to this particular asteroid, okay? And this asteroid is a metal asteroid. So it is basically telling us about planetesimals के बारे में बताएगा. Planetesimals is the stage before a planet is formed. So this can tell us about much about the interior of the Earth. This can also tell us about the reasons of gravity, right? Because we know that knife is called as the core. Inside the core we have nickel and iron. A lot of nickel and iron is there. So composition of Psyche is also perceived to be very much similar to the core of the Earth, and that is where this particular NASA Psyche mission has been launched using Falcon 10 rocket very recently. Okay, so this is something that we should study. Moving to the next part, again, why we are having frequent earthquakes in Afghanistan. This important news definitely we should cover. It is in the fault line where India plate hits Eurasian plate. The India's official position is very much clear in this article. You will find it. So that is what you are going to study. Though this particular news is highly condemnable, I would not subscribe you to read. Supreme Court has issued notice to the Delhi police, because the founder of News Click, that is Prabir Purkhayastha, this person is 70 years old and he has been in police custody for a very long time, and Delhi High Court has denied to intervene in this. So Supreme Court, division bench of the Supreme Court has issued notice to the Delhi police, okay? That is something you need to need. Rest everything is political here. Then we have a few news, small news coming from the economy side, where you will find center says measures in place to check price. So India has created export restrictions on sugar, wheat and rice particularly. right? And you will feel you will face a lot of mock questions from this. Like we have granted exemption to a lot of countries for rice export, like Singapore is there, Bhutan is there, UAE is there, and wheat we are granting, giving it to Egypt, particularly as Egypt is largely dependent on the import of wheat. So there are certain countries that we have given, you can say, exemptions, right? Largely, but we are trying to put down. Uh, then there is the important news: ICMR drone delivers drugs across Himachal Pradesh. The drone delivery system, that by delivering the vaccines and all of that through drone, this was already asked in CLAT. Mission Drone Shakti has been asked in CLAT in 2022, for that matter, right? So this is that. These are the news that you need to cover. Then from the international front, you will find that China and Japan are now facing stiff relations. There is a U.S. journalist working for Radio Free Europe who is detained in Russia, and reporter the name of the reporter is Alsu Kurmasheva, the second US journalist to be held. So these are the names that CLAT can ask you. Okay, so this is important. Russia and China are coming together with respect to energy, and they are going to make up for the losses by the European market. Then there is Nicaraguan Catholic priest freed, sent to Vatican. 12 Catholic priests detained in Nicaragua have been released and sent to Rome after the government of Daniel Ortega struck a deal with the Vatican. This is what there is new conflict is going up, right? China's is building its nuclear arsenal faster than the previous estimates. That is what the United States of America is saying. And this is a mere report, so we don't have to really deep dive into this. Pakistan court has granted bail to Nawaz Sharif. Nawaz Sharif was a convict in graft and all of that. So he might come to active politics this year. Let's see. Very important news is coming from this side. EU Human Rights Prize, which is named after Andrei Sakharov, award instituted in 1988, right? Mahsa Amini is the 22-year-old girl of Kurdish Iranian origin who protested against compulsory wearing of hijab in Iran, and she had been killed in police custody, and she has been awarded EU Human Rights Prize. And with that, there is this Narges Mohammadi this year, right? Narges Mohammadi had been awarded Nobel Peace Prize to 2023. Nobel Peace Prize 2023. So everything is related to Iran, and your sample paper also had this question. Interestingly, if you will check Sprint to CLAT, right? If you will check Sprint to CLAT PDF, there is a direct question on Mahsa Amini, which was reflected in your sample paper. So considering the recent trends and awards, that this particular news is important that we should study. Now, China and Egypt are coming close together again to stabilize West Asian region. Remember, Israel is a part of West Asia, okay? And India's and China's official position remains the same, two-state solution, and we are supporting Palestine, PLO, that is Palestine Liberation Organization. And who is the Prime Minister of Egypt? So you will find Mustafa Mabdoli. Mustafa Mabdoli is the Prime Minister of Egypt. That is the name that you need to remember. Whereas Germany, UK and USA are supporting their stand to Israel, but they're saying that we need to provide humanitarian assistance. The images are very shocking, and they shock our conscience that what is the justification for this particular warfare. And largely coming back to the same point again, India's official position, if we talk about, India's official position remains the same. We have stated that we are with Mahmoud Abbas, who is the president of Palestinian Authority. And the capital city is Ramallah. So Ram and Allah are together here, right? Again, that is the way of we Indians will try to look into that particular matter, because we are with humanity. We are neither with Israel, we are neither with Palestine. And at least at this point of time, this political issue should not be politicized, because we can see Congress and BJP, both the political factions, are having a unique stand. And both of them are condemning whatever Hamas has done. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has stated what Hamas is doing is war crime, and what Israel is doing in Gaza Strip is also a humanitarian war crime. And this has been the similar position of India. though the only difference is that India says that, see, any form of terrorism is not justified. So we are against terrorism, which means indirectly we are condemning what Hamas is doing. And we would want Palestine Liberation Organization to be the rightful representative of India. Rightful representative. See, this particular question came before India also when we were trying to fight for our independence, okay? And Indian National Congress के ऊपर बहुत सवाल उठे थे. A lot of questions were there whether Indian National Congress rightfully represented the political aspirations of India, and then at that time Indian National Congress, which was formed in 1885, okay? Similar allegations are there on Palestine Liberation Organization, and at that time Indian National Congress was being opposed by a lot of you can say trade unions. A lot of trade unions were being created, but there was no major opposition to Indian National Congress. A lot of people found their own political parties, like Bhagat Singh founded Hindu Socialist Republican Army, HSRA, but it could not gather the mass support and massive support because of its radical policy. So I am drawing parallels before you to tell you that what is, see, Palestine and Israel की अगर बात करें तो again they are fighting for their homeland, okay? They are fighting not for the religion. There is no religious warfare here. Please, though religion can be one of the motivations for the war to get triggered, but both of them are fighting for their homeland. So this is the crisis with respect to their zameen, right? Zameen Jaidaad, not Bhagwan, okay? So if you will find religion in this particular aspect, then you will be taking sides. But if you will think it like this, that we had also undergone this particular settlement and took a lot of life, like 10 million people lost their life while India and Pakistan were partitioned. Brutal murders and brutal rapes unaccounted. They have not been written down. They do not go into the pages of history of these two countries. So the roads are tough. The roads are definitely tough. There is no justification for what is going on as of now. But we have faced such instance not too far, 75 years back only. But we had made peace with the history, because if you want to care about the future, if you want a peaceful future, you need to make peace with the history. And I think Israel and Palestine both have made peace with their histories, because there have been ongoing battles like 1949, then 1957, then 1967, then 1987. Almost after every 10 years, they face a war, right? So they have made peace with the history, but Hamas is not ready to make the peace with the history, and that is the problem. So this is where this particular news comes into picture. Moving to the text and context part. So it is telling you that though we are gearing up to amend the Indian Penal Code and Criminal Procedure Code, yet the only catch is that we are not ready to change the special and the local laws. As per the report, it is found that nearly 40% of the cognizable offences, whichever are registered in 2021, were under special laws and local laws. Now, what are special laws and local laws? Which means that they particularly related to a specific set of offences. So, for example, there is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which finds no mention in Indian Penal Code. Okay, money laundering के बारे में बात नहीं, extortion के बारे में बात है आईपीसी में. तो मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग के लिए अलग से एक एक्ट बनाया गया 2002 में. प्रिवेंशन ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट 2002 इज अ स्पेशल लॉ. सुई जनरी लॉ कहते हैं इसको, राइट? स्पेशल लॉज फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक पर्पस. देन वी हैव अनलॉफुल एक्टिविटीज प्रिवेंशन एक्ट, again UAPA 1967 for terror organizations, right, as well as terrorists. And then we have another law on Narcotics, Drug and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. Then we have Prevention of Children from Sexual Offences, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, right? And then we have Maharashtra Control of Organized Crime Act 1999, which is a state law to oust underworld, right? D Company and all of that. Then we have Negotiable Instruments Act 1938, which is also a special law. So what is the author trying to tell you is that recently what has happened, Supreme Court has intervened and provided correct definitions like section 377 of IPC, which criminalized homosexuality, was decriminalized in 2018 under Navtej Johar versus Union of India. Along with that, section 124A, that is related to sedition, was suspended in SG Wombat Kere versus Union of India in 2022. And these judgments of the Supreme Court indicate that the special laws and the local laws also needs proper enhancement, upgradation and amendments. Apparently, we are trying to change IPC, CRPC and Evidence Act, and there is no emphasis given on this. So that is something that is good here, and it will be a very good read for CLAD aspirants. Okay. Now, this particular editorial recast India's food system. What he's just trying to tell you that, see, you have to change the food system in a manner where the regional disparities in the production of the food is tackled here, because World Food Day was observed on October 16th. Now, the theme for the World Food Day was related to water. Water is life and everything. Okay, so remember, October 16 is the World Food Day that we had observed, and India needs to check the food security, the food distribution system for one primary reason, that we have two set of diametrically opposite problems. At one side, we have malnourished population. You will find that National Family Health Survey 2019 indicated that 35% of the children are stunted, 57% and 25% men face the deficiency of iron, that is, they are anemic. On the other front, we have 24% adult women and 23% adult men obese, खा खा के मोटे हो गए. तो दोनों तरफ की हमारी दिक्कतें हैं. हमें दोनों तरह की लाइफ स्टाइल्स को, एक तरफ सीडेंट्री लाइफ स्टाइल है जो मोटापा फैला रही है, और एक तरफ अंडर न्यूट्रिशन है, डाइट प्रॉपर नहीं है जिसकी वजह से माल नरिशमेंट हो रहा है. तो दोनों चीज़ों को हमें टैकल करना है. लेकिन ये सब हम तभी कर पाएंगे जब हम फार्मर सेंट्रिक पॉलिसीज़ बनाएंगे. फार्मर सेंट्रिक पॉलिसीज़ में हमें फार्मर इनकम्स को प्रॉपरली करना पड़ेगा, और इनफैक्ट इंसेंटिवाइज करना पड़ेगा हमें न्यूट्री सीरियल्स और इस तरह की चीज़ों को. तो यहाँ पे ये है कि कॉरपोरेट प्राइवेट सेक्टर जो है वो कंज्यूमर के डिमांड्स को शिफ्ट करता है. अब मैंने अगर सिर्फ गेहूं के आटे की रोटी खाई है तो मुझे वही समझ में आएगी, पर अगर मुझे कोई मक्के के आटे की, बाजरा के आटे की रोटी खिला के, स्वादिष्ट रोटी खिला दे, तो मेरे दिमाग में कहीं ना कहीं एक सेंटिमेंट आएगा कि यार बाजरे की रोटी भी तो खाई जा सकती है, तो न्यूट्री सीरियल्स भी इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं. इस तरह की चीज़ों को आपको यहाँ पे बता रहा है. फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का क्या रोल है, एग्रो फॉरेस्ट्री एग्रीकल्चर में क्या चेंजेस करने की ज़रूरत है. वी ऑल्सो हैव अनाउंस्ड अ नेशनल मिशन ऑन नेचुरल फार्मिंग that can play a significant role in this, and all of these things have been discussed here that you should study. Now, in the same way, when we are talking about both of them are relating to the climate justice, and in this again you will find that the G20 declaration had everything, but the only thing that they could not agree was how they are going to phase out fossil fuels. Okay, the world was divided. And if you talk about India, so in India, nearly 50%, more than 50% of the energy is coming from coal, and 20% is coming from fossil fuels, that is the crude oil. And we are trying to, natural gas and crude oil, and we are trying to change this particular pattern. But the catch is that there is a economic as well as regional divide. From where we are drawing out coal in India are the rural areas, are the underdeveloped areas of Jharkhand, the tribal areas of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, and all of that. They are coming from the poor pockets of India, right? And yet we are so much dependent on coal. So if coal is coming from these regions, why are these regions not rich? Which means there is some sort of income disparity, economic inequality that is being there, and that might be attributed to the way coal is being extracted by public-private partnership and all of that. Also, the local people do not have any say if the coal mine is found in their jungles. They do not have any, you can say, resource, or you can say any economic viability emanating to them, reaching to them. Okay. And the second thing is that wherever solar energy, wind energy is related, so it is in high income pockets of India, of Western India, of the Southern India. So this is what the author is trying to tell you, that we want just energy transition, and just energy transition cannot be done if carbon injustice would be there, and rich would be getting richer and poor would be getting poorer. So a lot of statistics have been shared here, so that will be your good read that you will read. And I have clearly exactly told you the main problems, but the catch is that author is relating it with agrarian crisis and allied economies. It is telling you that climate change and energy transition are disproportionately affecting the poor. So how to mitigate it, how to balance it? Then the author says that, see, what you are doing is top to bottom approach you are applying here. Top to bottom is that the center will be formulating laws, right? And state have to implement it. Center will be formulating and the states have to implement it. But the reverse should happen. It must be bottom to the top, because every state has unique geography, unique agriculture practices, unique economic inequality and everything. And the state governments are well suited to tackle the problem of climate change, and they will help us in mitigating the climate change. So these are the two editorials that you should read. I have told you the context. Please do not proceed without reading the editorials, okay? And I have already highlighted the important news. Though there is nothing much significant fact emanating out of this, the only fact that is there is we have received almost, like expected was, 96% rainfall. And we have already received 94% rainfall. The month of August is considered to be dry because of the El Nino episode, and now southwest monsoon is retreating. We calculate monsoon from June टिल सितंबर. सो 1 जून से लेके 30 सितंबर तक जो भी वर्षा होती है वो हमारे मानसून रेनफॉल में आती है. इंडियन मेट्रोलॉजिकल डिपार्टमेंट ने कहा है कि अब रिट्रीटिंग मानसून का समय है. अब रिट्रीटिंग मानसून जो है वो आ रहे हैं, और इसमें हुई बारिश को हम बारिश कैलकुलेट नहीं करते. तो ये एक फैक्ट था हमारे पास. और यहाँ पे चुंगथांग डैम के बारे में बात की जा रही है. ग्लेशियर लेक आउटबस्ट GLOF की वजह से सिक्किम में जो बाढ़ आई, उसमें चुंगथांग डैम जो है वो हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट है. तो उसने हमारे ग्रीन रिवॉल्यूशन में भाखरा नागल डैम ने काफ़ी मदद करी थी. तो हमारे मिनिस्टर ऑफ पावर RK सिंह साहब ने कहा है कि चुंगथांग डैम का कंस्ट्रक्शन किसी भी तरीके से नहीं रुकेगा. सो दीज आर द न्यूज़. और आज के न्यूज़पेपर में कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा फैक्चुअल नहीं था. सो दिस वॉज हर्षवर्धन त्रिपाठी साइनिंग ऑफ फ्रॉम टुडेज न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस. आई सी यू गाइस इन द नेक्स्ट.